Talks Business.
There's good news and there's not so good news. The good news is people are understanding that the framework for the policy setting and how businesses should be managed, is there. And there are folks who are already putting these policies in place. And I would say a large number of organizations, especially the owner managers, still haven't gotten it. And I think it's a process. It is also because people are not necessarily aware of the benefits of having a strong corporate governance culture. One of the things that, if you listen to the panelist and the presenter, Professor Richardson said is, if you're able to develop the corporate governance framework, it actually makes your company well suited for access to capital. It also brings a lot of transparency and integrity to the operation. So people then trust, your business, your operation, and then be able to, move it from where it is. So to answer your question, yes, people are getting that mindset that it is important. There are others who are still getting to that point, and I'm sure we'll get there. It doesn't need to be as sophisticated as how we see the very big, large multinationals are doing. You should be able to start small. One of the things I have, suggested to folks is, try and get a mentor or a champion or an advisor from outside who you trust with some of the information, and also potentially empower one or two people in the organization to be able to, work together as a management team, such that you'll be able to think through some of the things like setting budgets, setting forecasts, setting some of the procedures, and something as simple as job description for whom you're going to be hiring today, tomorrow, and next year, right? And then as you progress in your business cycle, you become a bigger organization. I'm sure through internally generated funds, and maybe if you're fortunate to get some funding, you can then get a real board where you're bringing external people who are very qualified to be able to run the organization. So, I always say that corporate governance, the whole policy or the framework that you are setting up, which is primarily how is the company going to be managed. So procedures, processes, accountabilities, who's responsible for what, that's just primarily that framework. It also sets that, okay, there's the owner who has the aspiration of making money. There's a manager who also says, I need to make sure that I'm managing the company from this point to another point, and it stays a going concern. So sometimes, the two aspirations as an owner and as a manager sometimes conflict. So that's why it's important that down the line we'll be able to, separate, the objectives of each of them such that there's oversight of some sort. Then that, hey, this is, yes, my livelihood, but down the line, do I want this to be a legacy, or do I want to sell and exit from it down the line? I also say that corporate governance should be part of the overall plan of the business. So when you're developing your business plan, when you're having your marketing strategy, you're having the operational planning, corporate governance in essence should be an integral part of it. So that at least you discuss what you're going to do. Should there be, some fallback? And I always tell folks that, listen, yes, it may be expensive, it may bring about some level of bureaucracy. I understand. But see it as some kind of an insurance policy, right? So what's going to be the fallback should I fall ill in the middle of a major transaction? You have a contract with, say, Guinness Ghana Limited, and you're supposed to supply them with products and services worth, say, 1 million Ghana cedis. If everything rests on you and you fall ill, what's going to happen when you are back healthy? So it's important that you empower folks who will work for you and help with the governing of the organization. That's a very tough one. But one of the things that we should ask ourselves as business owners is, whether you're first generation or whatever, is what do I want to do as a business? Or why am I in business? Is this something that I'm looking to generate an income whilst I am alive? Or is this something that I want to be able to pass it on further down generations? Now, if your concept or your idea is the latter, that is being able to pass it down several generations down, then you should be able to start thinking and talking about what are the exit options. Am I going to be able to bring folks in? Am I going to empower and develop a child, a relative, to be able to take be part of the ownership or be part of the management from now onwards, such that when I'm leaving, they'll be able to take over? Am I going to be selling it outright and cash out? Those are the questions that need to be asked. And I think if we start, capturing our thoughts along those lines, the question of whether it's first generation or second generation wouldn't come up, because that if I'm moving from this point, at some point I'm not going to be alive, I'm not going to be strong, someone else has to do it.